You are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants take on the 0-15 Washington Commanders. Why the Washington Commanders 0-15? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? Thank you so much. Or anybody who watches the replay of this, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. We're going to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Got a lot to talk about. Any comments or anything, just put them in the chat box there. I'll check on it periodically, because sometimes I just get talking and I kind of forget about what's going on. But anybody that said anybody at all, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. We got quite a bit to go on here. Giants got that one from, they were at 80 after the game. They had some cuts yesterday, but before I guess they had their practice today, they got down to their initial 53. By no stretch of imagination whatsoever, especially once we go over the 53 they got on the roster, is just set in stone. Now, also, I mean, it's you're going to have some guys coming back because they got their 16-man practice squad that they got to fill up to. So it's not like all of these guys are going to be gone, But I mean, the Giants are going to be scouring the waiver wire. I mean, see who got let go, because the couple of positions the Giants are, going to need some help in. So, I mean, this is just the initial 53. Darius Slayton still on the roster. You keep hearing things left and right about possibly possibly being traded. I guess not trade bait, possibly being traded, So that might be why he's on the roster, okay, as compared to somebody else. Don't want to just let him go and somebody picks him up. If you can get you're gonna. I mean, I can't see getting anything better than a 6th-rounder for him. I mean, probably going to get a 7th-rounder for him. But hey, if you're going to get an extra draft pick for him, hold on to him. All right. Maybe those phone calls keep coming in. All right. And then maybe you make a trade. But, they only know that apparently there's been multiple teams. I don't know if that's 2, 3, 4, what. But apparently what I've just been reading, there's been multiple teams that have been inquiring about his services, shall we say. So that might be why he's on the roster. There's a couple spots that just a little thin, so don't expect, it's just the initial. And then guys, of course, are going to get hurt. Because we're talking the New York Giants here, so we're talking injuries, right? So guys are going to get hurt. Guys from the practice squad are going to come up. My goodness. It's a business. Football, it's football. I get it and all that and everything. But, I'll tell you what, last year when I first started going over, I kept an eye pretty much on, for the most part on, what the Giants had, who's on their roster and all before I started doing these YouTube videos. But I'll tell you what, last year was my first year. I started, I believe it was in March. It was just before the draft of 2021. So when the Giants, obviously after the preseason was over with, the Giants got down to their initial 53. They got their practice squad guys and all that. I'll tell you what, with Gettleman there, I'm sure it might be the same way here with Shane. Okay. But my head was freaking spinning. Like every day, you'd bring one guy in, or you bring 2 guys in, you sign them, you get rid of the contracts for a couple other guys on the practice squad, let them go. Like almost the next day, the 2 guys you just let go. You bring one of them back, and one of the guys you just signed on the practice, you let him go. It was just, somebody else gets injured, you bring somebody else in. It's just like your head just spins. So that's going to be the way it is. It's never ever set in stone, especially when because you're trying to build your roster, you're trying to make your roster better, and of course with those injuries, the injuries are just unbelievable. Especially with talking to the New York Giants. So we got some injuries. But Dable disclosed the 10 players that were elected team captains for the season. Okay. You got Julian Love, I'm going to go over like in a minute here. Okay. Who starts on defense and plays on all the special teams. Okay. Now, I'll tell you what, I hope somewhere along the line, the Giants got to put take their Giants flag and, go on the beach and plant the flag in the sand and say it stops or it starts right here. Okay. This is it. We're going to start. Okay. This guy, he plays all special teams. He's on the defense. You very rarely ever hear much about him. Right. Especially like maybe getting injured or whatever. He's a team captain and all. This is his fourth season. So what's that mean? Next year, right? He's going to be looking for a contract. So hopefully somewhere along the line, the Giants have to start re-signing their players. Yeah, I mean, they just cannot keep doing what we've been doing, with Gettleman, bringing the draft picks in and one by one, we just won't let them all go and keep bringing other guys in. Somewhere along the line, you got to, start re-signing your players. And hopefully they do that with Julian Love. He's not going to break the bank. He's not an all-pro. He's not Hall of Fame material. He's not an elite player. Okay. I don't know what he's going to ask or command or whatever, but, hopefully somewhere along the line, okay, they can, they start re-signing their own ball players. Now, the problem is that, he's not a Shane or Dable guy. They just came in, okay, and Julian Love was part of the team, so they have no attachment to him. But hopefully, they will re-sign him, right? I hope, because he's a quality ball player. He may not be the best player on the team, okay, but you need guys like him, okay? Absolutely need guys like him. All right. I mean, Joe Judge called him duct tape, meaning like he can fix many different things. You can give him any kind of, he can play almost anywhere in the secondary. He may not do it at an elite level, but you can put him almost freaking anywhere. All right. And hopefully somewhere along the line, the Giants start re-signing. And I would tickle me to death if they started with Julian Love. That'd be freaking absolutely fantastic. He certainly deserves it. Okay. Also elected with Daniel Jones, running back Saquon Barkley, and Andrew Thomas. No big surprises there. Okay. Then we have the three guys on defense. We got sexy Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Xavier McKinney. No big surprises there. Then we got I like this. I like that with Graham Gano and Casey Kreider. Okay, but I do like they got Cam Brown on there. Okay. Now Cam Brown may not obviously be, all that's cracked up to be, or an elite defensive player. Okay. He has his shortcomings. However, we're talking special teams, I mean, he saved the touchdown when Graham Gano, when they had the Bengals had the 73-yard kickoff return. Graham Gano, I believe, got his concussion. He made some ill-fated attempt at trying to dive head first and look like try to make a tackle, and his head slammed off the turf. I guess that's where he got his concussion. But Cam Brown was down there to save the touchdown, made touchdown saving time. I mean, Cam Brown is a very good special teamer, and you can't stockpile your entire roster with we got 8 or 9 guys on here, very good special teamers, and if they can't play defense or offense, but they're very good. I mean, you can't do that, but if you have a couple of elite guys on your team that play special teams like Cam Brown, very, very good. And, it's nice to see that they at least recognized him and his talents that he has. Okay. And then we got also, we got the Julian Love. Now, Julian, all right, he was kind of got a little. It wasn't like he was crying or not like that, but Dable was talking about him. He said he's smart. He's a reliable player of Julian Love who willingly embraces whatever role is asked of him, regardless of how he might feel about it. He willingly accepts new challenges, and he's become an indispensable player that head coach Brian Dable probably doesn't want to envision life without. And I hope they re-sign the guy, give him a nice little contract. We don't have to break the bank for him, but let's keep the dude in big blue uniform, huh? Well, now Love can add another role to his increasing responsibility. Team co-captain. The fourth-year pro received enough votes from both the defensive side of the ball and from special teams to where Dable went ahead and added Love as one of the 10 team captains this season. I'm not going to lie, it means an awful lot to me, said an emotionally humbled Love. I've never been a captain in my entire life, and to do it for the Giants of all places at the highest level, it's hard not to get emotional about it. Now, let's not forget, he came from Notre Dame, right? So, now Notre Dame doesn't win championships, but, that's an elite school right there, okay? So, so for him to come here and make it as the Giants, as a captain, it's pretty special. I said it's often that I feel like people have always wanted me to be more outspoken, which he's not. They want him to be the rah-rah guy. Some guys are. Some guys are outspoken. Some guys are rah-rah guy. That's not him, okay? Or they want him to be the rah-rah guy or to be the muscle head, all that stuff. But this team has appreciated me for staying true to myself, okay? And I'm extremely grateful. So the Giant, some coaches might go up to him, hey, Julian, you've been here for 4 years. People look up to you. Let's have you a little more vocal out there. Or, when you're out there in the field, maybe, just start clapping stuff up and, cheering guys on and, getting some guys fired up there. We'd like to see that from him. That's not the way he is. And then they don't ask him to do that. Now, I'm not saying Judge asked him to do that or anything like that, but some guys just go out there and they let their work. That's how they show off. Some guys are show off with their performance, and they're also loud and they cheer you on and all that. But not him. He just he lets his work show himself off. Right. Love, whom the previous coaching staff nicknamed Duct Tape. I've heard Joe Judge call him that many times, for his ability to slide into just about any role, is one of those players you don't notice for his flashy style, which he does not have. Okay, but if you're looking for consistency, the former Notre Dame star is your man. Consistent, right? I said he's not, he probably ain't never going to be an all-pro or anything like that. He's never going to get these gaudy numbers or anything. But, if you can get somebody who, as I said, you can put him in many, many positions on the field, and he's not going to break the bank, right? And especially play special teams. That's huge, absolutely huge. As I said, hopefully the Giants want to re-sign him. That would be absolutely fantastic. All right. So now let's go down here. All right. To the 53-man, the initial 53-man roster. By no stretch of imagination whatsoever, okay, is this set in stone. It's going to change. It's going to change like the weather, okay? All right, let's see. This is from Big Blue View. All right. The New York Giants' initial 53-man roster for the 2020 NFL 2000 season, 2022 NFL season is set. The initial. There are plenty of surprises, including wide receiver Darius Slayton still being with the team and quarterback Davis Webb haven't been released. As I said, with Darius Slayton, is a good reason why he's still on the team is because the trade talks, possibly. So instead of letting him go, keep him on the roster, okay? Because you're gonna want to bring back some guys on your practice squad, okay? Because not everybody's going to get scooped up. So you're going to have some guys on your practice squad, some of your wide receivers, okay, who you still like, okay? And so that way you can maybe trade Darius Slayton, all right? Pick up maybe an additional 7th-round pick for the following season, all right? And still have some players on your practice squad, and maybe you can elevate one of those guys, right? Or if you let Darius Slayton go, if you don't want to fill the roster with a wide receiver, there's a couple spots here that are a little thin. Okay. Let's see. It says here, roster is bound to change. Yep. Perhaps significantly as soon as 24 hours from now. Yep. Yep. Wave players will be awarded to claiming teams beginning on noon, Wednesday, August 31st. Now, the Giants are 5th in the pecking order. Okay. So that's good. I mean, that's one of the good things if you want to say about being a bad football team. Okay. You draft well. Okay. And you low in the pecking order. Okay. So they're 5th, which is very good. Okay. Let's see. There are also vested veteran players who are not subject to waivers and become free agents as soon as they were cut. Okay. There you go. The Giants likely have several players on their initial 53-man roster who will likely end up on the injured reserve list. Coach Brian Daboll said Tuesday afternoon that the Giants were still working through some things. So let's start here. All right, let's start the initial 53. They got the quarterbacks. All right, they kept they kept the 2 injured guys, and they let go of Davis Webb. Now, if Davis Webb, they might wind up bringing him back. I mean, you have to wind up waiting to see. Does somebody claim him? We have to wait and see. You don't know. But he still might wind up back with the Giants. And if he is, the Giants can maybe possibly, if they want to, maybe protect him. Okay, which might be a good thing. All right. But the Giants only kept 2 quarterbacks. Okay. The Giants ultimately decided to keep just 2 quarterbacks. Davis Webb was cut despite his outstanding preseason. I'll tell you what, I don't ever remember in the history of the New York Football Giants a 3rd stringer, okay, in preseason having the preseason that like completing like 75% of his passes, no interceptions, phenomenal job. Very, very good job. Okay. I don't ever remember a 3rd string quarterback coming in and playing. I mean, we've had 3rd string quarterbacks maybe have a decent game here or there or whatever, but overall, the whole preseason, he did a phenomenal job. Okay. So whether that is, that's the ultimate, Webb should be back. Okay. If he isn't claimed by another team. So that's what I'm saying. So if he's not claimed by another team, there's a good chance he'll be back. Okay. So let's see. Now, the Giants, they kept 4 running backs. I was a little surprised about this. Okay. I thought that, because they let go of Austin Allen, but maybe I thought one of those tight ends that they have could, because some of them were trying to get maybe the H-back role where they bring the guy in the backfield, maybe do some blocking or, the H-back position. And use that guy possibly as tight end / H-back, where he can maybe bring him in the backfield and maybe be a blocker, or also have him as a tight end or whatever. I didn't think they would wind up keeping 4 running backs. Okay. But they did. Okay. Let's see. They kept, of course, they kept Saquon, but they got Breida, Williams, and Brightwell. They kept the killer bees. Breida, Brightwell, and Barkley, and Antonio Williams. So they got Breida's the 2nd stringer, I guess, and Williams is the 3rd, and Gary Brightwell. What a nice preseason, but he's very good on special teams once again. Okay. Let's see here in this article I had undrafted free agent Jashawn Corbin making the roster instead of Brightwell. The Giants decided to go with Brightwell, who could end up returning kickoffs and being a key member of special teams coverage units, which is true. Okay. But I mean, same thing with Corbin. I mean, if he's not picked up, there's a chance he's not picked up. There's a lot of running backs out there. So there's a chance the Giants wind up picking him back up and put him on the practice squad. So don't get all bummed out, right? Now they kept 3 tight ends. Okay. The Giants dropped undrafted free agent Austin Allen, who could return as a member of the practice squad if he clears waivers. Okay. Myrick and Hudson are not inspiring backups. No, they're not. So you have to think that GM Joe Schoen will be scouring today's list of cuts for upgrades. Yeah. I mean, because I'll tell you what, this is one of the areas. Okay. They got, they kept 3 guys, but I tell you what, I'm excited, about Daniel Bellinger to see what possibly he can become. I do expect, the world from him now, but I mean, can he wind up being possibly a decent tight end? Yeah. I mean, I said, that just this year. I mean, the Giants can certainly draft another tight end next year. Right, draft another guy in the 4th round or so. Right, then they maybe have a couple decent tight ends. All right, now especially in this offense, the Giants, right? I mean, they may not be relying a lot on the tight end, so the tight end may not be that important of a position for them, right? But I mean, overall, okay, the tight end is. You let obviously Evan Ingram go, okay. Caden Smith, Rudolph. All right, so you had some guys there. Not that Caden Smith was a world beater, but he was with the team for a couple years. Obviously, Kyle Rudolph, right? Evan Ingram. All right, so you had some talent there. Okay, let them all go. All right, so. Keep an eye on the tight ends, right? It's the Bellinger, Myrick, Hudson combo may not be there for very long, right? Wide receivers, they kept 7 of them. Wasn't sure if they're going to keep 6 or 7. The reason why maybe it might be 7 is because Darius Slayton's one of them, okay? Let's see, in this article here, they kept Kenny Golladay, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, David Sills, Richie James, and Darius Slayton. All right. Now, one of the reasons why also 7, okay, so if they get rid of Darius Slayton, they might bring in another guy to keep 7, is because you're looking at, Kadarius Toney, I really don't even know if the guy even wants to play football, honest to goodness. I mean, I don't know if his heart's in it. I mean, I have no idea how he could possibly make it through high school and college football playing, as getting injured as much as he is right now. I just don't, I have a hard time fathoming that. I can't wrap my head around that. How like every other week the guy is injured. I mean, I have a hard time grasping that concept. Sterling Shepard gets banged up all the time. Kenny Golladay has had injury issues. Okay, so that might be another reason why they have 7 guys, 7 wide receivers. But in this article, they're like, yeah, I can hear all the Slayton fans now saying, "I told you so." I still would not count on Slayton being part of the Giants' Week 1 roster against the Titans. Technically, we have not reached the 4 p.m. deadline as I type this. Okay. So he was typing this out sometime early this afternoon. All right. Also, things will be fluid around the league as teams shuffle their rosters for the next few days. Yep. Especially the next 24 to 28 hours. So we'll see. Yeah. Some folks are upset about the release of Alex Bachman. Yeah, 19 receptions. All right. I mean, they had a very nice preseason. Bachman was always facing an uphill battle, as all of his playing time and practice time came with the 3rd team. That was an obvious tell that he wasn't a likely roster candidate. Yeah, they never seemed to move him up, gave him like 2nd string reps or 1st team reps or whatever, what I mean? So, but he had a very nice preseason. Offensive line, they kept 9. Okay. Wasn't sure if they were going to go with 8 or go with 9. Okay. Because it's like the walking wounded here. All right. They got Andrew Thomas, Shane Lemieux, Feliciano, Glowinski, and Evan Neal, apparently the starters. However, it looks like, Lemieux might wind up on the IR because whatever reason, he can't stay healthy. He can't even make it through preseason without getting last year and this year without getting banged up. Joshua Zudu, Ben Bredesen, Devery Hamilton, and Max Garcia are the backups. The one move that fooled me was the Giants choosing Garcia over Jamil Douglas, which is true. This is true. For most of the summer, it seemed like the Giants gave Douglas more and better opportunities. So it was natural to believe that they preferred him to Douglas as a backup interior offensive lineman. In the end, Garcia had the better resume and got the job. But if Jamil Douglas makes it through waivers, he might be on the practice squad, right? Let's see, and then here it says it would not surprise me if Shane Lemieux ends up on the IR. That could lead to either to Douglas being brought back or the Giants bringing in a veteran from elsewhere. So keep your eyes on that. Yeah, so I mean those 9 guys there they got on the offensive line, that is certainly without question subject to change. Okay, without a doubt. All right, then we going on to the defensive line. They kept 5. Okay, basically just the 2 guys, because you got to have your 2 edge rushers. All right, you got your interior defensive lineman. They got Leonard Williams and Sexy Dexter Lawrence. The 3 backups they got is Justin Ellis, Nick Williams, and DJ Davidson. Now, DJ Davidson, you got to kind of figure they were going to, because they spent a draft pick on him. All right, so he had a very, very good chance of making the team. All right. In his article, the guy says here, I said in my 53-man projection that this was a coin flip. I flipped wrong. I had Ellis and Williams out. Instead, the Giants let Jalen Holmes and undrafted free agent Ryder Anderson go. Wonder if Anderson lands on the practice squad should he go unclaimed, which is quite possible. Now, you got to remember, I mean, the Giants, their defense against the run was very good, very impressive this preseason. So the interior defensive line, they did a very decent job. Not so much pressure against the quarterback, not so much hits, knockdowns, or sacks, okay, but very good against the run. All right. Edge rushers, they kept 6 on the edge, okay. Got Azeez, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jihad Ward, Ellison Smith, Oshane Ximines, and Toman Fox. They kept Toman Fox on and they let Quincy Roche go. A little surprised. And they also they kept Oshane, they kept the X-Man, Oshane Ximines, and they let Quincy Roche go. And Toman Fox ended up as the only undrafted free agent to make the initial roster. Very impressive. Ellison Smith, who might wind up being placed on the IR, okay. Best guess is if that happens, it won't lead to a return of Roche. It will be surprising if he goes unclaimed. Yeah, I don't know. Roche's a quality backup. So as an edge rusher, okay, so he might be gone. All right, he may not. He might go claimed. Somebody might pick him up. Inside linebacker. A little surprised. They kept 6. A little surprised, especially because the way. I thought they might keep just maybe 5, but they kept 6. You got here, they got Blake Martinez and Tay Crowder, apparently the starters. Now, then, they may not always have 2 inside middle linebackers or inside linebackers, especially the way Wink Martindale likes to line up his defense. I mean, they can certainly have 3 safeties. They got 3 cornerbacks. They might have 2 edge rushers, 2 inside defensive linemen, and maybe 1 middle linebacker, but they kept Micah McFadden, okay, who was a draft pick, right? And then he kept Carter Coughlin. A little surprised about that, but they did, right? Let's see, in his right here, the guy says in his article, in my 53-man roster projection, I debated between Coughlin and Calitro. The Giants solved that problem, at least for now, by keeping both of the players. They kept Coughlin, they kept Calitro, and they kept Cam. They got the 4 C's. They got Crowder. Oh, actually 5 C's. Crowder, Carter Coughlin, Calitro, and Cam Brown. So, I mean, you had to keep Cam Brown, especially with his special teams. I'm kind of surprised that they kept Carter Coughlin, but so he's a special team contributor as well, too. Okay, so but the one thing I like about Carter Coughlin, too, special teams, but he's been put on at outside linebacker, and he's played inside linebacker. He doesn't do it at an elite level. Don't get me wrong, okay? But he's versatility, which is huge, okay? I mean, that's just the roster for now, right? Cornerbacks, they kept 5. A little surprised about that. Okay, but they got Adoree Jackson, Aaron Robinson, and Darnay Holmes. The backups was Cordell Flott, okay, who was draft pick, all right? And you got Darius Williams. This has to be a spot where the Giants are scouring the waiver wire. Oh, yeah, because they were not overly impressive in the preseason, okay? Especially their backups. Not impressive whatsoever. So, this might be a spot where they have 5, but they might add somebody else, okay? So look, keep an eye out for that, all right? What says here, Darius Williams has not practiced since the first few days of camp. And it's almost certainly he's headed for IR. So it would seem the Giants could stand to pick up at least 2 new backup cornerbacks. Yeah, so I mean, one person to give them, at least 6 cornerbacks, okay, and then possibly somebody for Darius Williams because he hasn't practiced in weeks, all right? So safeties, all right, yeah, we're a little low. They kept 3 safeties, okay. They left, they left, right? Left quite a few of them go. They got obviously Julian Love, Mr. Duct Tape, Xavier McKinney, and Dane Belton, okay, who's hopefully coming back. Hopefully he'll make it back for the first week of the season. Hopefully, all right. Got some high hopes for him. I mean, not super high hope, but he looks like he's going to be a decent ball player. In this article here, the guy has, in my 53-man projection, I debated between undrafted Trenton Thompson, who had a nice special teams, nice preseason, and veteran Nate Metters. I chose Metters. The Giants chose neither. So the Giants I'll tell you, they let Trenton Thompson and Metters both go. So this is going to be another one of those where they're scouring, okay, because they can't go into the season with just 3 safeties. Absolutely not. It would be shocking if the Giants go into the season with only 3 safeties, especially since Belton has not practiced after breaking his collarbone. We're kind of hoping that the collarbone will heal in time for week 1. But the Baltimore Ravens released veteran safety Tony Jefferson, a player defensive coordinator Wink Martindale is familiar with. That's something to keep an eye on. So Tony Jefferson, keep your eye on him, okay? Because, I mean, you can't go into the season with just 3 safeties. Okay. Special teams, they got Gano, Gillen, and Casey Kreider. Okay. And then the guys that got cut. All right. They got a slew of the guys who got cut. But once again, let's not forget. All right. They could be back. All right. All right. So we got Roy Mbedeka. Roy Mbedeka. Will Holden. Jalen Holmes, Khalil Dorsey, Harrison Hand, Nate Metters, and Trenton Thompson, Sandro Platzskummer, Jalen Moore, Jashawn Corbin, Alex Bachman, Turner Overdrive, Darren Evans, Jamil Douglas, CJ Board, Ryder Anderson, Garrett McGinn, Quincy Roche, Davis Webb, David Moa. I was a little shocked about that one, too. Little shocked. He had a nice preseason, I guess, not good enough. Zion Gilbert, Austin Allen, Josh Rivas, Yusuf Corker, Ryan Santoso, Keelan Doss, Travis Toivonen, and Elijah Griffin, and Eric Smith. So, but out of those names, don't forget, all right, this is just the initial. They got the clear waivers. Not all those guys are going to get picked up by any stretch of imagination, okay? And so the Giants have to fill a 16-man practice squad. All right, so they're going to have to start bringing some of those guys back. Maybe not all of them, okay, because they're going to be scouring the waiver wire. So some guys that on the waiver wire they might bring in, put them on the practice squad. We'll have to want to wait and see. But a lot of those guys that got caught will wind up initially, being back with the team. For how long, who knows? But that's it for now. We went 34 minutes. A lot of talking going on here. A lot of talking. But anybody at all spend any time with me whatsoever, anybody at all, spend a little time watching the replay of this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for just taking some time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.